Today's moment in Black history is all about Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson was a star of stage and screen and a voice that was so rich that it was pretty much unable to be duplicated. Unfortunately, his career was cut short because of politics, but his impact on the world is one that can't be ignored. He was born in 1898 in New Jersey. His dad had escaped enslavement when he was a teenager, and his mother was from a Quaker family. He was able to secure a scholarship to Rutgers, becoming the third Black student to ever be admitted. He graduated from high school as valedictorian and then went on to college. While in college, he was the only African American student on campus, but that didn't stop him from doing literally anything he set his mind to. He tried out for the football team and was named an All-American 2 times. He sang with the Glee Club and off campus from time to time for money. And once again, graduated as valedictorian. After college, he decided that he was going to pursue a career in law. He applied and was accepted to New York University School of Law, and to support himself was an assistant football coach at a local university. But he never really felt like he fit in there. And so about a year after starting, he transferred to Columbia School of Law and moved to Harlem, where he would be a huge part of the Harlem Renaissance. While in law school, he continued in his love of the arts. He played in a few off-Broadway productions. He sang in the chorus lines. And really, he just had a wonderful time immersing himself not only in legal expertise, but also in musical and artistic pursuits. He did continue to play football and actually played for the NFL's Milwaukee Badgers for a while. However, he decided to retire from football and focus more on a legal career. However, the law was not as welcoming as an institution as he wanted it to be, and he was not able to support himself and his wife, mostly because of racism. And so he decided he was going to focus all of his attention on becoming an actor. His role in The Emperor Jones made him shoot to superstardom. Pretty much for the rest of the 1920s, he was either on Broadway or in a movie, but he was always going. He was consistently booked. In 1928, he got the role of Joe in Showboat, and his rendition of Old Man River just essentially became the benchmark for like literally every single person who would ever be in that role. That was like the highest bar to hit. It did get mixed reviews from some of the language, but his performance was absolutely standout and no one could touch it. In 1930, Paul moved to London to play Othello in the play Othello. He was the very first actor to be cast as Othello who was not white. And that caused a little controversy, but did not stop his performance from being absolutely phenomenal. While in London, Paul had his own sort of awakening. He started to delve deep into his African heritage. He started to dig into African history and the phonetics of Swahili, and started to get more friends within the anti-imperialist movement, becoming very interested with the idea of socialism. He traveled to the Soviet Union and even said about the experience that for the first time in his life, he was walking in full human dignity as opposed to the racism he experienced in different parts of Europe. Around this time, he got a lot more conscious of the roles he was taking too, trying to kind of look at how those roles would be seen in society. He continued to perform, and in 1935, even met Albert Einstein after one of his shows, and they bonded over a passion for music and a hatred of fascism. They were friends for over 20 years. It really wasn't publicized, but they had a pretty tight bond. At the onset of World War II, Robeson returned to the United States. Initially, he was well received and able to find lots of work in the entertainment industry. However, he narrated a documentary in 1942 that was labeled as communist propaganda, and after that point, he went on an FBI watch list. His history of fighting imperialism, of fighting for workers' rights, and having friends in the socialist community in Europe did not play well in his favor in that regard, and unfortunately, he was not able to get much work, nor was he able to leave the United States. This watch list got him blacklisted and had his passport removed from him until it was declared illegal for the U.S. government to do that in 1958. He said, "There are no impartial observers. Through the destruction in certain countries of the greatest man's literary heritage, through the propagation of false ideas of racial and national superiority, the artist, the scientist, the writer is challenged. The struggle evades the formerly cloistered halls of our universities and other seats of learning. The battlefront is everywhere."